The crowd buzzed with anticipation, a restless energy surging through the arena like an unrelenting tide. Every seat was filled, every eye locked on the ring, where two warriors would soon stand face to face. Oleksandr Usyk, the master technician, a man whose footwork and precision had left opponents bewildered, was set to clash with Joseph Parker, the resilient powerhouse with a heart as relentless as his punches. This was no ordinary fight. This was a battle between two titans, each with their own path, their own struggles, and their own reasons why losing was not an option. Cameras flashed, illuminating the tension in stark bursts of white. The air carried an electric charge, as if the universe itself understood the magnitude of what was about to unfold. Usyk, ever composed, warmed up with the calm efficiency of a grandmaster setting the pieces for a flawless game of chess. His hands moved with a practiced sharpness, every jab and feint a silent message he was ready. Parker, standing tall in his corner, rolled his shoulders, his expression unreadable. He had faced adversity before, had clawed his way back from the brink time and time again. This was his moment to prove that grit and sheer willpower could overcome even the most tactical of adversaries. The announcer's voice echoed through the arena, amplifying the gravity of the moment. Every syllable of their names rang out, bouncing off the walls like a war cry. The crowd responded in waves, roars of support blending into a single, deafening crescendo. Fans on both sides had their own reasons for believing. Some saw Usyk as an untouchable strategist, a man who had dismantled bigger, stronger foes with his unshakable discipline. Others placed their faith in Parker's raw power, convinced that his ability to absorb punishment and keep moving forward would break Usyk down. But in a fight like this, belief alone wouldn't be enough. The fighters met at the center of the ring, eyes locked, a silent exchange passing between them. There was no need for words. They both knew the stakes. Careers, reputations, legacies, everything was on the line. The referee's instructions faded into the background as the moment stretched, the final breath before the storm. The bell was moments away, and with it the beginning of something that would be talked about for years. But just as the referee stepped back, signaling the start, something unexpected happened, something that sent a ripple through the crowd and shifted the entire dynamic of the fight before a single punch was thrown. A hush fell over the arena, a strange collective intake of breath. Something wasn't right. Instead of the immediate clash of gloves and the measured dance of footwork, there was hesitation. Usyk's gaze flickered, not with doubt, but with recognition. Parker, too, stiffened for a fraction of a second, his usual composure briefly interrupted. It was subtle, a moment so fleeting that only the most observant noticed. But in a fight like this, even a flicker of distraction meant everything. Then, as if the spell had been broken, Parker charged forward, unleashing a jab that cut through the space between them like a blade. Usyk reacted instantly, slipping to the side with his signature grace, but there was something different in his movement and edge, an alertness that wasn't just about the fight. The crowd erupted, thrilled at the sudden burst of action, but those closest to the ring sensed an unspoken tension lingering beneath the blows. The punches flew faster now, Parker pressing forward with heavy-handed combinations, forcing Usyk to retreat and counter with sniper-like precision. Each hit echoed, a collision of flesh and determination, but neither man gave an inch. Sweat began to bead on their foreheads, yet their minds were working just as hard as their bodies. Usyk's sharp eyes darted, scanning beyond Parker as if searching for something outside the ring. And then it happened. A sudden disturbance rippled through the front rows, a commotion that sent security scrambling. People turned, distracted by the unexpected movement just beyond the ropes. A voice, rough and urgent, cut through the noise. It wasn't the usual chants or cheers, it was something different, something that didn't belong in the controlled chaos of a championship fight. Parker threw a right hook, but this time, Usyk didn't just evade, he turned his head, for the briefest of moments, toward whatever was unfolding outside the ring. It was a mistake, one he never made. The crowd gasped as Parker's punch landed cleanly, staggering Usyk for the first time. But even as he steadied himself, his focus remained split. Something was wrong. And whatever it was bigger than this fight. The moment stretched, thick with an unease that didn't belong in the ring. Usyk steadied himself, rolling his shoulders, resetting his stance, but his eyes betrayed him. There was a flicker of urgency, a silent war waging behind his normally unreadable gaze. Across from him, Parker hesitated for just a fraction of a second, sensing something was off. Fighters could feel it, the shift in energy, the disturbance in rhythm. It wasn't just the fight anymore. Something else had entered the ring, even if it wasn't visible. But the match wasn't stopping. The referee signaled them forward, and Parker seized the moment, lunging with a flurry of strikes designed to keep Usyk on his heels. The impact of each punch echoed through the arena, the crowd roaring at the sight of a champion being forced back. But Usyk wasn't breaking, he was calculating. With a sharp sidestep, he slipped past Parker's offense and delivered a counter left, crisp and devastating. Parker staggered, his balance momentarily lost, and in that instant, Usyk made his decision. He pivoted not to chase Parker, but to glance toward the ringside commotion. A group of security personnel wrestled with someone in the crowd, their movements frantic, their voices sharp with authority. The disruption should have been nothing more than background noise to a fight of this magnitude, but something about it held weight. Something about it had caught Usyk's attention long before the first punch was thrown. Then, a sound cut through the chaos, a single urgent voice shouting his name. It wasn't a fan. It wasn't a coach. It was someone who shouldn't have been there. Parker, still recovering from the counter, saw the break in Usyk's focus and pressed forward, unaware that the fight had already shifted into something else entirely. He threw a thunderous right, and for the first time, Usyk was caught completely off guard. The impact sent him reeling, his body hitting the ropes hard. The crowd erupted, some rising from their seats, sensing a potential knockdown. But Usyk wasn't just reacting to the punch. He was reacting to what he saw behind Parker, to the figure struggling against the security guards, to the realization that this wasn't just a championship fight anymore. It was something far more dangerous. Then, just as quickly as the moment had shattered, Usyk straightened, his mind snapping back into place. His hesitation was gone. Whatever he had seen, whatever had distracted him, he had made a decision. His footwork became razor sharp, his movements precise, and within seconds, the entire fight dynamic flipped. Parker, who had just been pressing the attack, suddenly found himself overwhelmed. Usyk's counters came in relentless succession, his punches finding their mark with perfect accuracy. Blow after blow landed, Parker trying to push forward but finding no openings. The tide had turned. Usyk wasn't just fighting to win, he was fighting to finish it. And then, with one final combination, Parker's defenses crumbled. A sharp left hook sent him stumbling, and the referee had seen enough. He stepped in, waving off the fight. The bell rang, signaling the end. The crowd erupted in both celebration and disbelief, but Usyk barely reacted. His eyes immediately darted back toward the disturbance outside the ring, his breath still heavy, his fists still clenched. Security had subdued the figure, dragging them away through the crowd. But the moment lingered, an unspoken weight pressing down on the aftermath of the fight. As Usyk's hand was raised in victory, His expression remained unreadable. He had won the match, but whatever had just happened, whatever had pulled his attention away in the middle of battle was far from over.